enjoyment sports a lot.
Yeah, but if you show the numbers,
gentlemen, if you're joining us now for the second part of In the Presence of Greatness, you'll notice that Engin Terzi and Rob Vigeant Jnr. carried on during the break. Myself and Herman Stevens II beautifully observed silence, waiting for the second part to start. Rob may well be medium to well cut at this stage. Have you been drinking, Rob? Or are you stone cold sober?
No, I mean, stone cold is a strong term, but to say that I've broken in, I mean, it's Sunday fun day. I'm not 3 sheets to the wind, but I'm out doing my laundry. We'll put it
there
that
you
way.
go. That's the guy we know and love. And once again, ladies and gents, the pig is here. Now, Engin, just a rebel. Since birth, ladies and gents, never can you control the enigma. And so they were off talking about Kazakhstan. Now, I had this thing orchestrated and we were talking, again, me and Herman, we were there. We just need to get these two motherfuckers to that level. We were going into talking about Total Arm Wrestling League. I feel like Herman set it up very well at the end of the last episode. And suddenly, Rob throws in Kazakhstan. And unless we address Kazakhstan first, there will be no rest. So we're going to hand over to...
No, I mean, we could go back to Engin fluffing the numbers on beating Jason Bale.
I mean, that was horrific. If you didn't catch that, links in the description. Go back. I mean, it's anything like that for a long period of time. Engin, he'll tell you anything.
I was just trying to spin off the conversation. You guys can proceed with the TAL.
No, hey, Rob. Listen, mate. Freedom to talk about what you want on the show. So go make the point about Kazakhstan. It was a good point.
Well, we were talking about the cultivation of the sport, and I just look at a small country with a small population like Kazakhstan, and if you just kind of modeled the whys and hows they're producing such great athletes and have such involvement, but we have infinite more people and resources, it's really not hard to get the same result if you follow a similar path. It's just that nobody wants to put in that work and build that structure.
The degree of focus in Kazakhstan is unbelievable. I mean, they are extremely professionally focused on turning out.
I watched whatever that was on YouTube about, why they're so good and why they produce the athletes they do and how it's structured. And I mean, kids are skilled and it's in the schools and it's known. And if it's something that growth is of importance, there's no reason that it shouldn't be introduced. There shouldn't be a place in 5 years from now that somebody says to you, oh, I didn't even know that they did arm wrestling tournaments. If somebody really had the resources and the money and wanted to grow it, they could, in 5 years, make it where everybody's heard of it. But it's going to take a selfless act, and selfless pullers, too. Pullers got to be willing to promote it. The guys who are the top names got to be willing to promote it for maybe not as much money, knowing that there'll be something on the back end, hopefully. And if not, maybe for the generations to come. It takes a little bit of selflessness. But nobody's doing that. Nobody wants to put in the overtime. Nobody wants to go to work for free. People want to get paid. If they can get paid, they want to get paid to show up. They want to get paid for the meal. They want to get a fucking gas card, a bar tab card. They want all that shit. You do get enough of those guys and you sink an organization. The guy tries, goes balls deep, and throws one of those events, paying everybody, thinking that he's going to get some sponsorship from Budweiser or fucking GNC or something. And when it doesn't happen, the guy goes, oh, I'm stuck, and never throws a tournament again. What happened to the Moldova tournaments? That was supposed to be like 4 tournaments, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, mate,
that guy shot himself.
I think a lot of people are getting to know about arm wrestling now, and I think there's some opportunity now for people to become stars on the internet. I mean, Devon obviously achieved it. Michael Todd looks like he's just taking off now. His channel's picking up pace. How the hell Travis Page isn't already there is...
He's late.
Social media. It's just social media.
Yeah, but Travis's opportunity to become significant on social media for me is vast.
You need to understand that you can build that popularity when you are at the top. You understand? Whenever Travis is talking, people are talking to him. They are saying, okay, stop talking and start doing. You understand? While the others are still doing. Do you understand? So Travis needs to just rebuild his popularity as a fresh one. You understand? He's
Yeah,
popular.
he needs to beat
he's
somebody really significant.
He's being popular right now as being one of the best ever, not the one of the best of current. Yeah. Whenever he starts building that whenever he goes beats Michael Todd or Larat or someone then he will start making that building that you are talking about. And if we come to the Kazakhstan shortly,
do not start Kazakhstan without Rob there.
There is government sport. You understand? Government sport.
You can't do that, Engin. What the fuck are you doing? You can't do that, dude. He's gone.
I don't know. Whenever he is here, he doesn't allow us to talk. So let me talk while he's gone.
Fire, go.
Anyway, so what I'm just saying that it is, yes, he is right. It's also a cultural thing, I kind of believe that more the life gets easier, more you have a lot of opportunities to do. You understand? It is harder for less popular things to be taken seriously. You understand? So I kind of see that in Kazakhstan it is an official sport, government is supporting, and then it's also paying money. Also, in a cultural way, I see that in the cultures that men are still trying to prove themselves, better than each other compared to those metropoles. You understand? Mm-hmm. Those kind of physical combat sport. You understand?
Yeah, the greater focus is put on alpha male pursuits. Georgia.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Whenever you go to the Caucasian around, like where the Azerbaijan and Georgia and the Dagestan people, Ossetians, you can say that Ossetia is a small place, like 1 million population, and
500,000 of them are monsters.
And it is like more than half of the world champions are. I'm sure from there. Yeah.
That's because their bone structure is dissimilar to most humans. The friggin' wrists they're just built, I don't know. People that come from that region just seem structurally strong, just built for being strong as fluff. You look at them and, all of them.
Yeah. So what I'm just saying that when the life is getting easier, the physical activity is getting lesser. Now it's just like the kids are front of the PlayStation, and I have my own son. My wife is also European champion arm wrestler. I am also world champion arm wrestler. I'm having very hard time to make my son go train. He's only training because I want to. You understand? But I'm not forcing him, but I want to build a base. He's 12 years old. I'm just thinking that, if I build a base, even by a little bit force, I'm just thinking a few years later.
I love that you
bring up the paddle.
A few years later, whenever he realizes that he is a man, he is becoming a man, maybe he changes his mind and he wants to be maybe more competitive. You understand? As a teenager, then he will use this time that I try to make him train as a benefit for himself. He will have a base. But
you need to develop like a risk and reward system, Engin. So that he gets rewarded for achieving something. Say like, I don't know, think of something. Say he likes a girl, right? And you can say, well, you know what? If you do those pull-ups, you're going to get better abs, and girls like abs. So he thinks, okay, I should do some pull-ups maybe because then I get my abs,
That's not my way. My way is...
Yeah, but it's a good way.
But I am a trainer, I'm not going to motivate them in the way that I don't believe. They just need to go and then prove that they are the best in the world. They can come to the challenge. Is there anyone better than me? Anyone.
Yeah, well, that's you. Let's say he's motivated by money, okay? You can say, Emir, let me tell you a little story.
I don't believe in materialistic things. Not you, not me, not John Borzing. None of the greatest started this for the materialistic things. You know, we
not,
just
not
like
in sport, but in life, it's a good thing. You could be saying, I could say to you, Engin, let me tell you a story, right?
they will never get better. They will never become like one of us. Those
When
people,
I
you
was
know,
a kid, a mate of mine, right, Mick Graham, he says to me, and now he's a successful guy as well, and he goes, Neil, because he knows me, he said, when I went out, I was a young kid, I had nothing. I was dirt poor. So I'm walking to school one day, I had nothing, and I see a pallet. You know, like a pallet? You have pallets in Turkey, you know, pallet that you would put on a truck. Do you call them pallets?
Yeah, okay.
So he finds a pallet. Okay. And he says, I found this pallet, and I thought to myself, I had a bit of an epiphany. Picks up the pallet, takes it home. And he takes the pallet apart. From that pallet, he makes like a birdhouse. Okay? And he sells that birdhouse, and with the money from that birdhouse, he buys 2 pallets, Engin. Takes the pallets apart. And with the wood from those 2 pallets, he makes a birdhouse and a small decorative kennel for a dog, and he sells them. And he makes some money. And suddenly he's not dirt poor anymore. He's thinking, there's some money in this. And with that money, he spends some of the money. He buys 3 pallets.
You gonna do business teaching here?
Yeah, because, you know, later he ends up with a pallet company. I mean, he didn't always work like that. He might like, yeah, and then I won the pools. Look, the pallets. But, yeah, if you're lucky, you're lucky. But a guy like that who has nothing, he gives him an opportunity. So what I'm saying is, he's risking.
I have never been a rich guy either. You know, I'm just trying to tell you that, like, I think that the most of the legends in any sport, they don't start for money. They love it first, and then money is always a bonus once you fulfill your dream. You understand? I have never seen anyone that, you know, starts for money. I don't think that when the reason is money, it is going to have more impact, you know, than, you know, love. I think that when you love someone, something, you know, I'm sorry to say wrong, but like you need to love it first. Mm-hmm. When you love it, you will do it, and the money will come as a bonus. But I don't believe that anyone just starts for the money. I will be very, very surprised if someone is motivated just from the beginning, money. Like people come to my training. Okay, if I win, what am I gonna get? And then I try to explain the government gives this much of money that those people, trust me, they never reach anywhere.
Well, the irony is that in your country you did actually get government reward, didn't you? For arm wrestling.
People who has dreams to win a world championships, to become best, those are the ones that constantly, you know, comes train and then, you know, pay the price. Those are the ones. I didn't start. Like, our government started to pay us after 1998. I started in 1991. I never expected any money. And then the time that it became official sport here, it was time for my prime. And then I started making money.
The funny thing is,
those guys now that want to be a world champion want to be a world champion because they know that that's there, or that they really want to be a world champion? Do you think that they know they can carve themselves an easier life because it is an option now, or that because they really want to be a champion? That's like wanting to be a rock star. Do you really want the world to hear your music, or do you just want the hundreds of millions of screaming girls and money to come with it? Making music. You can make music in a cave. Why do you need to push it to the whole world? But if you want the notoriety and the money and all the fame and glory that comes with it, then you're a rock star. But you can make the same music you make from day one. You don't need to pour and be sleepless nights. So they're looking for the back end inevitably. They start with the love of music, but they want to become rock stars because they want that notoriety and that money.
Well, the other element of that is as well is the puller thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can get yourself famous and notoriety by going and pulling in tournaments where there's really high-level arm wrestlers, but no money. But I know for a fact if there's big money out, there's a different crop of arm wrestlers show up.
Yes.
And I do question how much of their motivation comes from the fact that they can win money.
But they didn't start from there.
No.
That's the award over the.
It's an evolution.
Yeah, I agree with that, but they definitely do become motivated by money more as it goes on.
Money legitimizes anything. Money legitimizes everything, unfortunately, in our society. It makes even the most mundane, ridiculous acts seem valid if they made money. Take anything. I don't care if you got a dog shit scooping service, which I've seen kicking around. If you see a guy that starts that business and he's struggling and he's on welfare and he can barely make his bills, you say, what a bonehead idea. But if the guy spins off and becomes a Fortune 500 company with franchises and he's making millions of dollars and billions of dollars because he's got franchises all over the country, you say, what a genius idea. Nothing changed with the concept of the idea. Just your perception of how good his idea was changed by how much money he was worth. I mean, money changes everyone's perspective on everything. It is a fact. It's been a fact since the dawn of time.
It certainly does seem to change people in arm wrestling as well, because you'll get guys that go from, let's say they're a WAF champion, and they're very, very good arm wrestler in the WAF, and then a version of them will show up and they start pulling maybe in vendettas or prize money shows anywhere in the world, and it's a different dude. They've
look at the whole top 8. Every one of those guys in top 8 gained about 20, 30 kilos because they're chasing that money. They're doing things that they wouldn't have done for free, but when they know they can make a year's pay, now they're doing things differently. The approach is different.
And, to be honest, in some of those countries, it's not just the money that they get from the top 8. I mean, didn't bloody Levine get an apartment or something?
Can I tell you?
Yeah, he got an apartment though, didn't he? In Tbilisi, I think.
Neil, did you watch the interview? Neil, did you watch the interview that we did with Levan?
Yeah, he came on here as well. He came on the show.
I'm talking about Yanis and Coach Ray.
Yes.
Listen. Whenever we ask what is his dream, he didn't say $50,000. He didn't. No,
he said he doesn't want to lose a round.
Yes, he didn't want to lose a round. You get my point? Yeah. So the money is a bonus to when you are working on the dream. But whenever I ask him, what is your dream? He said that I want to finish. I never lost a round so far. He said I am 24-0. And he said that I want to finish my career as not losing a single round. And I want to beat Dennis in hook. I'm just saying that, of course, when you are that good, the money also comes. And if you are that good, of course you are going to choose the more money. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that, like, whenever we were laying and then thinking, I was 63 kilo, I was dreaming of beating 100 kilo John Burzing when he's prime, He was 33 years old. I was thinking that I was going to top roll him and let him feel that I'm going to beat him. But because of the respect, I was going to lose. I was dreaming. I'm just saying that. And if I would go down 3 kilo to 60 kilo, I could win 60 kilo and 70 kilo. But I didn't lose that 3 kilo. I could make a lot more money by losing that way so that I would beat John Burzing. I didn't want to lose power. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whenever I talk with people, they also have dreams as well, I don't think that, I don't know, maybe it's me only. Maybe.
It's not only you, but I think that some of those dreams are piggybacked with an ulterior motive on the back end. By Levan not wanting to lose a round, he's creating a bigger persona and bigger image for himself, which in turn makes him a bigger entity and more sellable. It's like when Mike Tyson was undefeated in the 90s. Why was he such a sale? People wanted to just see people survive.
But this is your guess. Maybe he really dreams that. How can you know that?
Everybody dreams that. Tell me somebody who sits here and says, I kind of want to lose 3 rounds. He says you want to lose 5 rounds. I'm cool with that. No, everybody wants that.
He says this just to make an image, Maybe he says this. That is really, really, really his dream, He didn't tell me, hey, listen, Engin, I have a dream, this. I said, what's your dream, and then he answered this. It was right away.
But nobody's dream is to really lose. Nobody's dream is to even include losing if they're competitive even in the league.
You don't understand.
Really, his dream is to build his persona because he comes from a country, he's a celebrity.
You're missing point. If he wins 5-1, he's still winning the same money. He's talking about not losing a round.
But you become a bigger entity by not losing a round. If you win by like 4-2, you're kind of close. If you win by 6-0, winning isn't winning. People gauge your level of dominance. Like I said, there's a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard who won fights by pinning people that can go in the distance. Mike Tyson put him on ice.
No.
Two different fighters that drew two different cards.
His career in this way. He says that if he wants to finish it, it means that he wants to finish it before he comes to a point that he's gonna win 5-1 or 4-2 or something. I'm just saying that, like, you are still guessing. You are just saying that, like.
No, I think I got a good luck on it.
No. I believe. I also have a dream, and dreamer. I'm a dreamer too. So whenever I see he's talking, I see myself. So I understand he is that honest what he's saying. I have no reason to call him liar.
I'm not saying he doesn't dream it. What I'm saying is you can dream it, but part of the dream is the result of what comes with that dream. It's like saying you want to be a rock star. That's why I made that analogy. Why do you want to be a rock star? Do you dream of being on a bus for a year at a time away from your family and friends?
Rob?
Or do you want to get laid and get millions of dollars?
Well, I was just going to say, Rob, right? I never knew that I actually wanted to be a rock star. But I can say that when you said that you'd have loads of girls screaming your name and, get blown a lot, I wanted to be one.
What if I told you rock stars, your passion's music, but now rock stars make janitor paycheck and the world is put on reset where you get viewed like a janitor? Who the fuck is picking up a guitar and strumming at the beach? Nobody. The people who really love it
will. The one that gets blown a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of different to be a rock star in a physical
No,
combat.
because you can say it's for the love of music, but they push it to be...
Even the fan base is different, Your fan base is even different, Just you want lots of teenagers screaming for you, Just it's different.
No, it's what you're talking about for love and knowing there's something on the back end. Everyone loves to win. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to be, this. But saying, I never woke up a day and said I want to lose a round today. I want to lose. But with every win comes a building. You're building your career. You're building your
wants to become a legend. He wants to do something that no one has done before. It's very normal. Whenever he quits, he wants people to talk like Habib now, 29-0, right? He did something, no loss, and he retired. So the same thing he wants to do. This guy wants to do it. This is what I believe. Anyways,
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to argue about the psyche of Levant. He can have that undefeated record, but I'm not going to argue about his psyche. I don't know where the fuck this went.
It's not undefeated.
Let's talk about Total Arm Wrestling League.
Total Arm Wrestling League, not to be confused.
Trying to lure Herman into lynch him.
Right, here we go. So Total Arm Wrestling League, Herman, right?
Yeah. Hey, I'm a solutions guy, so I told them that they should switch to TXAL, the Texas guys, but the X could be a Confederate flag emoji.
Yeah, you're not a provocative guy.
You're right? Okay, but Total Arm Wrestling League, I didn't get to watch it. I saw some highlights.
Really? I thought you would have been right on that, mother fluffer.
Normally I would, but I was working yesterday, so...
yeah, fair enough. You didn't have a roof to put on your home. I mean, it's quite a good distraction.
But a lot of good stuff. I think you mentioned earlier, super matches looked fine on paper, but they didn't really pan out. Honestly, I wasn't excited about a lot of them. I mean, anytime Todd Hutchings pulls, I'm excited, but I don't know what you guys thought, but I know, so to start off with, I guess Todd killed Don Underwood, but I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there was no match. I mean, just an absolute.
That's a double-edged match because Don got that name by being the Don that was maybe like 2009, 2010 that really had a good stride where he was on the tower in Vegas and the arm wars you put on, beating, Travis and Devin and Richard and basically everyone he faced for about a year or two. Then 10 years later, I don't know. I don't live with the guy, but I'm assuming he's not quite the same. And that's not to detract from Todd. Todd looks like he trains hard and he's always in pretty good shape. But I think it's somewhere in the middle. Todd's probably in good shape and Don's not where he was, and somewhere in the middle lies. Do I think that match would have been that way 10 years ago? No, but, you know, it is what it is. I think it's a mixture of both Todd being in good shape and Don.
Yeah, the great shame of it is, though, that you don't see anything out of you don't see anything out of Don at all there. I mean, Don's got charisma, he's got the character, he's got the showmanship, he's got the mouth. You're not going to see any of that from him when he's just completely outgunned. And from day one, round one, he just wasn't in the match, bless him. And so it closes down any of the sort of the elements that you're going to get from Dom, which are going to be crowd pleasing, because he's just getting a train run over him. And it just, the whole thing just went, there was just no stops, there was nothing. It was flat. And I felt for Jeff, I felt for Don, and I felt for the people that were obviously really excited to see that match.
Do you think that is what Don can do as his best right now?
No, I agree with Rob that Don's not done yet.
Because of the years, now he is like this. Even he tries, he is at his best right now, or he's not ready yet.
I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's where he was and has been. And also, Todd is astronomically strong. He's just too strong. He's a mismatch.
He was usually doing a back pressure and he was hitting, you know. This time, he didn't even have one hit, you know. He didn't even one time have chance. Of course, the tight pressure is also killing him, but the Don that I know from 10 years ago, I mean, that wouldn't be like this for sure, you know.
No, but it isn't him, mate. And it's not like Todd isn't capable of dealing with, and I'm talking about a recent version of Todd. All right, a very recent version of Todd isn't capable of dealing with fast top rollers. We've seen his outings against Matt Mask. We've seen his outings against Marcio. Marcio of a similar specification to Don in terms of leverage, attacking style, very fast. But Marcio is going to beat Dom. Dom's not going to beat Marcio at this point in time. And Todd could hang on to him.
Neil, did you see Jordan's hill yesterday with him?
You know what? I didn't see Jordan.
Yeah, he hit top roll and beat him.
I didn't see Jordan.
I saw. Yeah.
So Jordan top rolled Todd and beat him.
Yeah, and Jordan,
on the right arm.
Jordan, do you know how Jordan looked? I don't know how to describe, but he looked like Incredible Hulk. You know, the arms, forearms. You know, upper body is just like huge. And
Jordan's a physical specimen for the sport. I mean, we talked about that, Herman, the other week. Jordan's built for the game.
Yeah, Jordan was 240 pounds, and he looked like he was almost as big as Rob.
It's not having it.
No, he was huge. I mean, Jordan's big. Jordan's big when he's 205. I mean, Jordan looked crazy at 240 pounds if you've seen any of the pictures. I mean, that's a lot of muscle he put on.
Yeah. And he's got he's got the frame to carry it as well. You know, he really does have that super heavyweight frame. I mean, huge hands, long arm. You know, he's got the frame. Now, the funny thing is, that pretty much endorses what Rob was just saying, in that whilst we know Todd is astronomically strong, maybe it made the match with Dom, styles make matches, and maybe that made him look stronger.
They also train together too, so I'm sure there's a level. They've got a friendship and train together. I'm not saying that Jordan can't. I think Jordan's actually got a win somewhere along the timeline on Todd. But
he does, yeah.
Certain matches you can take can really glorify a person and make a person look better. You know, in the sense that I think Todd's always been a top guy. He has. But beating Don in that way is not the Don that we're picturing the prime Don. You know what I'm saying? It's like when Larry Holmes smacked up Muhammad Ali. That really isn't a reflection on Larry Holmes' greatness more as it is Ali's decline. You know,
I would have liked to see, because I mean this with the greatest of respect to Don, because I really like Don. I think Don's got a great character for the sport of arm wrestling in terms of he can give the fans something. He's got that character that, he's entertaining, he's articulate, he's funny, he'll put himself out there, but nobody's going to do that when they're getting run over, as I say. I would have liked to see, and his recent outings, he has lost to guys who aren't beating Todd anytime soon. So I would have liked to see, personally, Don in a match that he could have won. And again, with the greatest of respect to Don, I had Todd all day, every day in that match, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. It's a shame, really, And some of the other matches on the card didn't go down well. I mean, if you walk through them, the only one that had stops and entertainment in was Topi Merritt. Outside of that, and that was moderate, but it was a solid pull. Outside of that, it was a shame. The rest of the matches, and the biggest shame of the lot was bloody Cody getting injured, blowing his bicep tendon early doors, which is a horrible.
Left-handed, right?
Yeah. Blew his bicep tendon.
I do think that he's going to make some ripples.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's already that good, but when you're that motivated and you land with somebody who's on that world level, and you kind of found your niche and your happy place where I've watched their YouTubes and stuff where they train like that. I mean, just it's like you can't help but make the ground he has. And
have you ever pulled him, Rob?
No.
Like you, Herman, you pulled him?
No, sir.
No.
Which one is his best arm, Neil?
I would say right hand.
I was going to say right arm, but you'd have to ask Corey. I don't know. I think he's solid both arms.
They don't, they're athletes. The way they train there and the time they put in how hard they hit it. They're athletes. Mm. Corey's a big dude too. I mean, you see him in person. He's a big kid.
Yeah, he's a very, very big lad, and he's young as well. He's only a puppy. I hope he stopped growing. You know what I'm saying? But but he's a big boy and a really, really, really nice guy as well. Very endearing character, I was very sad to see it get
free. That's the X factor for the sport too. When people try to track the longevity, and say you'll catch one injury that you think you're going like this, and and then you're trying to dig out to get back to wherever you thought your trajectory was, and then 5 years passed you by.
Yeah.
So he came out of that looking pretty good. He came out of that situation looking really good. I think created a lot of question marks, especially where Wayne was a guy that a lot of people are looking at as the next tier under the real big name heavyweights we have. Wayne was probably the guy that a lot of people are pushing towards. He's the guy, and where Corey beat him for one reason or another, I think it puts him in a good position.
It was an impressive outing. There's no doubt about that from Corey. Yeah. I mean, Wayne is no bum, and he's a very big guy. Got a lot of top end. Obviously, Herman freshest off pulling him. You hung him up bad the other week, didn't you?
And I don't know if Rob knows, but Rob, did you know that I beat Wayne for the Mississippi heavyweight title last couple weeks ago?
Well, I actually saw where you pulled him. I didn't see where you beat him. I saw that you guys were in the same class, but I didn't see all the videos because like I said, I'm social media kind of whatever crosses my path.
Yeah, it's Mississippi, so they always lose my wins. But he fouled out in the setup in the first match. We had the war that you saw in the second match, and in the final match, he fouled out again. But it was really because I was dominating his hand outside of the strap, and so he was kind of running. So I wish he would have let me pin him, but yeah, I beat him. I was pretty proud of that. I owed him a lot.
Win Withers.
What?
Win Withers.
Oh, okay. The guy that lost to Corey yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Corey, and what was the guy with so much tattoos, the bodybuilder looking guy? They had a long match, right? Recently.
Oh, you're talking with Justin Bishop?
No, the heavyweight guy. He also went to
Toby? Robbie Toby?
Toby?
Oh, no. Corey and this guy had a match, tough match. The guy with the good tan, you're talking about.
Oh, Mike Aiello?
Yeah. They were like head to head with it. Yeah, Mike.
I thought you meant yesterday. I didn't.
No. A month ago, I say Mike and him.
Okay.
Right arm. Like close match they had, very like right arm, And then I think
Mike and Corey.
Overall, Daniel Mosier beat him, you know, the guy, Corey.
I don't know. I know almost nothing what's going on in the arm wrestling world.
Yeah, but Dan, hold on. So Dan beat Corey after Corey had wars in an open class. They pulled it in overall. Dan beat Corey, and Dan elbow fouled on the start. So I mean, Dan's strong, Dan's fast, but he did elbow. He jumped him on the start. So
Louisiana Hop, Herman. Don't know whether you know anything about that, dude. You want to get over there, Engin.
Herman, glad you're over there in England. He has a couple to slap you around, Neil. Because what have you ever done in the sport?
Hey, all I'm saying is I wish I'd gone over to Herman's place and taken the masterclass on the Louisiana Hop. Because seriously, I think I could do something if I mastered that.
Mike Aiello, how good is he?
He's powerful. He's solid.
Compare the level, because
he went to Moldova. I think he did really good in that Moldova tournament.
He's got a good hook. He's a developing second tier heavyweight, in my opinion. He's not elite, but he's, you know, he can every day deal with a lot of guys.
Corey is in the same level with him. It means that because they were like so close.
Yeah, there's not a great deal in it, mate. They're both, you know, in that they're knocking on that door. You know,
he beat a very heavy Normans, didn't he?
I can't recall Mike beating Norman.
In Chicago, one of the qualifiers, Normans was about 240, and him and Normans pulled in a hook, and I want to say he beat Normans.
Mike's got a number of impressive wins. He's beaten.
Well, that's a good win.
Yeah, he beat Ryan Espy. That's a bloody good win.
Yeah.
You know, he's beating some
good
lads. He's strong.
Outside the guys like Jerry Cataret and the Travises and stuff like that. I mean, he's always in any tournament finds himself working towards that final bracket.
Yeah, he's that second tier down, just below your.
But his second tier is almost like on its own tier because he beats everyone else that's not him and not like Tim Bresnan or you know whoever. He gives people fits. I think he's up there in the super heavyweights for sure.
Yeah, he definitely is. And
he's gone under it way better like this.
He's getting better as well, a lot better all the time. He's really evolving.
Roman Gromo, right? His last name.
Yeah, Roman Gromo. Yeah.
He
looked big.
Are you considering him for 165 WAL? Maybe.
He's been on the fringe of that for a while, mate.
He has competed?
Oh, yeah. No, he's competed in the tournaments. Roman did well in the tournament. The last tournament that he was in, he did pretty well. He's been on the fringe of that for a while. He's always in consideration. It's around matches more than anything else, you know.
I have a question for you, Neil. Neil, you always say that, you know, whenever, you know, people criticize, they say that, you know, like people, I would say, like because of the contracts, you know, they don't have the best, they don't have chance to pull each other. Yeah. And you are saying that this is same with other sports as well, you know. Once you have an organization, you have contract, and this is how it is. But, you know, they have probably a ranking system, you know, that they know that more they win and they have chance to pull and then they can climb up in ranking. My question to you, does Wild have a ranking?
Put it this way. Address that question another way, okay? Yeah. What I would say is this. If so many guys should be in World Arm Wrestling League and have this acid claim to being in World Arm Wrestling League, why is it so difficult to get those guys together? I mean, one of the big things with COVID, I was gutted that the Cock of the Walk tournament fell through. Because one of the good things about that was that it had a number of those claims, you know, the guys that said, okay, I should be in the World Arm Wrestling League on merit. So if you were saying, okay, that it's all about merit, which in my opinion, it isn't all about merit. Right. It just isn't. Because, I mean, with the greatest of respect in the world, if I wanted to bring over a set of absolute weirdos from Europe, could I do that? That had run through a lot of the guys in the divisions? Okay. I'm pretty sure I could do that. But it's not just about that. It's not about...
I will say, like, so you are saying that you are still trying to build the popularity instead of
Yes.
Yeah,
100%, because arm wrestling doesn't have. There's a lot of people that think arm wrestling is much more popular than it is, and it isn't. It's got no following yet.
Are still looking for more like rating.
Correct.
Exciting. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. When the UFC first started, it went on a similar journey where you have entertaining matches. And if you've got, this is what I talked about yesterday with the fact that super matchmaking is an art form.
True.
That's a fact. It's an art form. It is not just, here is a guy who is a really good level arm wrestler. Here is a guy who's another really good level arm wrestler. I put them together in a pot and I get this amazing, exciting match. Bullshit. You don't. That's not how it works. End of. I know. I've done it more than anybody else. And I've fallen on my ass and I've paid for it. But I also scored a lot of goals. And I now know the formula. And guys like Daniel Mosier, who's a rock-solid puller. I don't need to be convinced that Daniel's a great arm wrestler. Dude's savage. But if you get a situation where a person comes in who is not a fan of arm wrestling, and they see another arm wrestler, and I'm sorry to throw Dan's name out there because it's not against Dan, it can be, let's say Arsene Liliev. Take Dan out of it. Arsene Liliev comes in and he just goes, Hum! And leathers the guy 6 times. I guarantee you the person in the bar couldn't give a shit. They're reaching for the peanuts.
Let me cut you 1 second. But not everyone's goal is like yours. You know, Mike Tyson. He was having a match that like first round, like because of the time difference, I was waiting here till like 3, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning. And then the match was finishing in 45 seconds, and we were going to the bed, you know.
You were, Engin, and people make this comparison a great deal, mate. And I MC fights and I MC arm wrestling. And I can tell you this categorically. When a dude gets flatlined in the face with a punch, it's a hell of a lot more exciting than somebody getting pinned in an arm wrestling match. Second thing, more people identify with being punched in the face than with arm wrestling. They just do.
Yes,
everybody, if a fight starts, everybody's like,
Listen. Next day when I talk with people, they say, we waited till the 5 a.m. in the morning. It was so disappointed that 45 seconds later we had to go to bed, you know. That's not always the case. But what I'm just saying that your goal and the goal of TAL may be different. Maybe some people are looking to find out the best instead of because that's not a TV broadcasting. So what I'm saying, they started from Canada. So their champions, the belt holders were from Canada. So once they get out of the Canada and they start to meet in the U.S. best, so maybe it was normal that, you know, there was some dominance in some matches. But now, maybe from now on, the next matches will be harder, you know.
Yes, if I'm a purist, okay, if you sit me down if I'm a purist arm wrestler, I love arm wrestling.
Yeah.
I want to see who the very, very, very best is.
Yeah.
But nobody needs to sell arm wrestling to me.
Yeah.
They don't need, I'm already into it. I don't care if let me say the Nomad League that's coming out of Kazakhstan right now, okay? Yeah. The very best thing the Nomad League could do is to pick up the phone and say, Neil, please commentate these matches. Because they are as flat as a witch's tits. But to me, because I'm a purist arm wrestler, I love them. I love those matches. And I know that a lot of guys, you're probably 4 of them, and there's many guys who are into the sport of arm wrestling that love those. They don't care if there's commentary, if there's background noise. They couldn't care less. They just want to see that guy wrestle that guy. However, for the person that has no idea who either of those arm wrestlers are, they're needing much more from the match. They're needing to, first of all, understand the sport, have an inkling of what the fluff is going on, and most importantly, have some kind of insight into the guys that are arm wrestling so they care, so they give a shit about who's arm wrestling. Everybody knows, it doesn't matter what sport it is, if you may love soccer, okay, American football, but you love it more when it's your team playing.
Yeah.
When your team's playing, you love it more.
On that note, when Game of Arms was running big, I've been competing when they came on, I was competing for a good long while, even local events. And for one reason or another, I never got my mother to one of my events. But boy, she used to tune in every single week to Game of Arms, and she had her people that she fell in love with. And I even think she admittedly cried along with Tom Nelson on that mountaintop when that episode was there. Because she just loved it. And she identified with the people, and it gave them something beyond the competing. My mother, there were tournaments a half hour away from her, and she was busy with her business or her life or her dog or her farm or whatever. She never came. Mm-hmm. But she would tune in on her DVR the Game of Arms because it gave them that something that you're talking about. It wasn't just purist matches. She saw the connection. She got connected in some way.
You've got to be invested in the sport. Something has got to make you invested in the sport. And the Ultimate Fighter, what that delivered for the UFC, it was the turning point.
Right.
The Bonner Griffin fight, because people had gone on that journey with them, they gave a shit about the guys, and then when the guys both went out on the shields, absolutely threw down to an unbelievable degree. Yeah, that you can look the sport. From a purist sport angle, everybody loves sport when it's tightly contested. We were just talking about it a moment ago with the super match thing. Last night, Marvin Vettori fighting Jack Hermanson in the UFC. Dateline check, you can see when we actually recorded this. But last night, unbelievable fight. The guys beat the living daylights out of each other. Now, if you're a UFC fan or if you're a fight fan, you love that fight. But I guarantee you that people who have no idea about UFC wouldn't find that as exciting, even though it was an incredible fight, as if they knew who was fighting. If they knew Jack Hermanson, and they knew a bit about Jack Hermanson, and they knew Vettori, and they knew a bit about him, and they knew what he'd gone through, and they knew his character, you pick a side then. You pick someone who you identify with, and you're invested.
When Felix Trinidad or De La Hoya or Chavez used to fight, their whole countries would riot. Mm-hmm. When Chavez used to fight, the fucking Mexico would burn down. You know, when Trinidad used to fight, was it the Dominican? Was he Puerto Rico or Dominican? I forget, but his whole country would earthquake, you know, and it wasn't necessarily only for the fight. It was for who they were backing.
We had it in the Arm War series, we had clear fan favourites. They were very, very clear. You could see it. We used to get the viewing figures, and there were certain guys that may not be the best arm wrestler in the world, but God, for whatever reason, the fans resonated with that person. And any time they were on, it didn't matter who they were arm wrestling, they would you would see the viewing figures straight. It was really clear. And Eurosport became invested in that and would be trying to influence who I had on the cards. They'd be ringing me up and they're saying, right, Neil, if we're doing this card, this is it. We need this guy on there. Because they soon became aware of the fact that guy sold in the card. That's who they wanted.
If we go back to arm wrestling, for TV, I understand that you want matches.
Mm-hmm.
And how about super matches that WAL organizes, which are not broadcasted, but just to make some base and just to promote the sport?
Well, to be honest, mate, you don't need to. The WAL doesn't need to control the entirety of arm wrestling. It really doesn't.
It's not control, it's serving.
There's so many opportunities out there for people to do that already. Look, Total Arm Wrestling League can be that guy.
You can serve arm wrestling, you don't have to limit your service with 20 guys, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are some other guys that, want to be part of it, and then you can use as a base, your own base, and you can use as your own, maybe, low ranking, you understand?
I think the Nomad thing is exactly that now.
What's that?
The thing I was talking about, the Nomad League for Kazakhstan.
I'm talking about
that function. It's just
the one that's
the very best.
No, the one that I'm talking about, you do in the North America.
Mm-hmm. But Rob was going to do Cock of the Walk. Now, Cock of the Walk would have told a lot of stories. Or what Cock of the Walk would have done is create an enormous amount of talking point.
I mean, what would you do? What would you lose? You in 1 year, how many broadcasting you have? 7, 8? Well, how many do you have?
What, for the World Arm Wrestling League? How many did they have? They had 6 shows.
6 shows. So what I'm just saying that other than that, during the off season, I mean, what would you lose? You will just lose a little bit money, that's all. But if you are making a lot more than that, I'm talking about the organizer. Of course, you
let me just tell you one of the most powerful things that was said to me based on WAL and people getting into WAL. Because one of the prizes I wanted to offer, because everybody was talking, I belong in the WAL, I belong doing this, I should be on that card. So I said, when I put the cock of the walk together to see out of all these guys talking, who was the best out of all the ones talking that they deserved the spot, I reached out to these guys at the WAL. I won't throw names, but I said, could I get your, could you give me the go ahead to offer the winner of this tournament a guaranteed match in the WAL? And one of the guys got back to me and said, we don't feel comfortable with that. We'll be watching the tournament. We don't feel comfortable giving the winner a go ahead. And I'm like, why? Because that would bring so much more. They said, what if the wrong guy wins? Meaning, it's foolish to think that arm wrestling ability is all that the WAL wants. The WAL is a production, and they do have some of the greatest arm wrestlers tied up, but they do scout people. You can be one of those greats, but not fitting of what they want at all. Yeah, and that's just a fact. It's a production, and they do. They have a prejudice of sorts.
Yeah, and the UFC would be the same in fight sports, and in any boxing promotion all over the world, exactly the same.
I don't talk about qualification. I'm not talking about qualification. I'm talking about serving the sport. And then you don't have to.
They don't care
about serving the sport. It's a business.
I just show you like 10 minutes, please. Yeah, because this is your native language, you never give a chance to talk. First you understand what I say, then answer me. Okay. Did I say qualification? No. So then why are you talking about qualification?
So you're talking about building the sport.
No, listen, I didn't finish. You're still doing the same thing. I say just serve the sport. You can do some super matches. You can do some other events. And from there, you don't have to guarantee anyone that if you win this, I'm going to take you to TV or something. Just you can observe, you just follow and then see maybe some future stars come, and then if you see their form is good, you can say, okay, come. I'm not saying that you give him, if you win this super match, it's going to be qualification to pull Rob Vigeant for the belt. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that if you want to serve the sport, just don't serve to only like 20 guys up there. I think that you have power to do more than that. I think that you can even make your own brand, and then you can just get even become more popular in a base, fan base.
To answer that, mate, I think that the perception the sport should have, and we should have as arm wrestlers as well, is that there is a degree of serving the sport from any, whether it's PAL, whether it's WAL, whether it's any very heavily publicized, recognized event. Because what it does is it injects venom into the game. It injects interest into the game. It injects a degree of excitement that isn't there when they're not functioning. So people go out and start to arm wrestle because for a myriad of reasons. Number one, it may be because they are focused on one day getting to those bigger leagues, to the World Arm Wrestling League, to the PAL, to the TAL, wherever their aspiration is. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment, specifically because of who we've got on the call. But the other thing is that there is a service to arm wrestling if you are broadcasting the sport of arm wrestling generally. If you are broadcasting to the sport of arm wrestling generally and reaching a wider audience with any form of arm wrestling, you're definitely serving the sport. As long as you're not doing it a massive discredit, then you are serving the sport. Now, the point I wanted to just make quickly, there's a lot of talk obviously there about, this guy may want to be in the World Arm Wrestling League. This guy should be. I approached Herman 4 or 5 times. Couldn't get him in. That's a fact. He didn't want in. So, I don't think we should naturally assume that everybody wants in. It's just a counterpoint to think about. Not everybody wants in. Herman didn't want in.
there are other guys that you know. So when the question came up about Daniel, and Daniel was competing at that time for the Professional Arm Wrestling League, or he'd been over to compete in Zloty Tour, I just made the point, well, I haven't actually spoken to Dan Mosier about getting into it. Are you sure that he even wants to be? Maybe his aspiration, his style, may be better suited to Professional Arm Wrestling League. Bresnan's another good example. Bresnan wants to pull for the PAL. That's what he does. You know, it's Tim's thing. So, that's fair enough. But he does. So, I think the point I'm making is I'm obviously part of the World Arm Wrestling League. I represent the World Arm Wrestling League in certain capacities and so on. But I don't think that they close down the daylight on other promotions, and that I know for a fact they're not interested in doing that. They're supportive of other promotions, and they want to see other promotions succeed. They're not sort of us and them with PAL, for example. They've no axe to grind with PAL. It's much more of a situation where the way that it's perceived within the World Arm Wrestling League and with Steve Kaplan personally is that a rising tide raises all ships. And I think that's the right perception to have, to be honest. I think if more people are watching and enjoying arm wrestling, then more people will come to the sport of arm wrestling. I honestly do.
Yeah, but where?
Anywhere. Everywhere.
I mean, no. What I'm just saying, like, they are a lot of fans, but they don't have enough of, I think that they don't have enough of events in
No.
US.
But
as it used to be, the first parts of the conversation that we talk, you know, there was more of the events. Now is just some people are trying. I don't know, the TL pays so much money. I am guessing that he has good sponsors. Otherwise, I don't know.
Because you said it's a money game now and it's a business. Unfortunately, the difference with Igor and WAL, Igor is a career competitor, if I'm not mistaken. He's a longtime arm wrestler, correct? And has deep love for the sport.
Yes, he does.
Whereas Steve has done incredible things for the sport and done incredible things for us, and for that I'm grateful. But he could walk away from this, and this is just another venture for him. Arm wrestling's not in his blood. This is a venture he's on. And he could shut the doors and walk away and go start up a racing league or a Ninja Warrior league. He doesn't give a shit. At the end of the day, businessmen, they look at numbers and figures and bottom lines. Igor will be here 10 years from now because Igor is going to find a way to leverage and make this float because this is his love. Whereas Steve, if there's money being made, I'm sure he'll be around. But if this business has to go sideways like any smart businessman would do, they start to weigh and do numbers. It is not about a for love of the game speech. This is a business. And the sooner everyone realizes that it becomes money spent versus money gained, then it all becomes real clear.
And the interesting point to make there, to close it up, Rob, is that unfortunately the reality of life is that in some respects, in order to ground arm wrestling to a wider community, to the wider public, arm wrestling has to be treated in that manner. And you spoke there about, obviously, Igor, and rightly so, the fact that the guy does love and is heavily invested in arm wrestling, but his approach to arm wrestling is no different. He, and again, rightly so, he would always try to bring the most charismatic, entertaining arm wrestlers to the fore. He's going to do that. Of course he is. And he's done that consistently and would continue to do so, as would I, as would most people if they had the opportunity to do that. There's a package that you have to try to deliver, and it involves a level of ability, a level of marketability, a level of entertainment and general interest, and all of those disparate elements come to make a package for a TV show or for a live promotion. Doesn't have to be TV. That's the point I'm making there from that perspective, Engin. If you are putting on any kind of a visual entity that somebody you want to watch or become invested in who is not already in the sport and doesn't already have a love for the sport, you've got to find a way of hooking them in. Something that is appealing. That's why
companies spend so much on advertising and marketing. And what they always do is make it look as appealing as they can to their target audience. And arm wrestling's no different and never is going to be. I think sometimes we get a little bit confused in trying to have these entities come in and govern the sport a little lower down when they really don't need to. Excuse the ringing mobile in the background. I think they really don't. They don't really. It's a good tune, that, isn't it? They don't need to. We should allow the sport to do its own thing there, because purist arm wrestling, that's good. It's fine. As I say, you can watch the Nomad League and you will see the very best arm wrestlers in that area of the world go head to head, and you'll find out who the man is or who the woman is that day. And same in Turkey, same in the UK, same in North America.
Neil, what the Herman thing here is the guy that, pulled the list. Herman, what's your opinion about all this?
Well, one, as far as WAL, I guess serving the sport, it's just a business. They're not going to do a lot of extra stuff. It's going to be cut to the bone. I think it'd be great if they did do some of these extra matches and that sort of thing. I think it'd be great if they still had tournaments to build that side of the sport, but I know what it is. I respect it as a business. I think some comments were made about the bigger tournaments being gone in the United States, or there being fewer tournaments. There are fewer larger tournaments, but there are far more smaller tournaments and far less talent at these tournaments. And so, I don't remember what the tournaments were like. I wouldn't know what the tournaments were like when you were going around the United States. But now, every weekend in the United States, you can go to multiple tournaments. And you can go into, let's say, a 90-kilo class with 3 or 4 people in it, right? And those 3 people can all get a medal. And there's literally no competition. So we have all these tournaments, and maybe we're bringing in more people, but they have no clue what actual arm wrestling competition is. The refereeing isn't strict. It's teaching everyone all these bad habits. Everyone thinks they're a champion. They can get a first place prize out of 3 people, and they can post it on Facebook. Again, I said it probably 2 years ago. Arm wrestling is dead. The arm wrestling that we know is dead. It's a whole new show. And
how about YouTube likes and social media pats on the back, and whoever can convince the world that they're the best is the best.
Correct. So, for instance, and that's at the bottom, you got a lot of people that think they're really good and they're nobodies, and it's at the top. And in particular, Devin on social media is bigger than the entire sport. Devin is arm wrestling when you look at it outside of arm wrestling. And I bet Devin has 500,000 people watching that would swear that Devin is the best arm wrestler in the world right now. And we all know it's not true. So it's weird. It's weird, Engin. I don't know if I have any summarizing thoughts on the subject, but
he is pretty popular. I had a guy tell me I was a liar. I told a kid I used to work with that I knew him, because he goes, "You know that Devin Larrick guy? He wasn't an arm wrestler at all. He was a carpenter who came to work for my company, and he kind of heard what I did." He goes, says to them about Devin Larrick. I was like, "I know him." He goes, "What do you mean you know him?" I was like I know him. He called me a liar, as if I was saying I went and hung out with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and pulled a threesome for the weekend. I was like, dude, no, it's a guy. He's an arm wrestler. I've hung out with him, but to him, he saw the following, and his college buddies would watch, and he's reached a group of people that he's of a celebrity that people almost think he's like Tom Brady.
But that's great. In a way, that's great, though.
No, it's wonderful. But I'm saying when he said he's bigger than the whole sport, he really is. I mean, he's brought it to that level.
Some point is good, but some point, if probably Devin would tell them to, if you hit your head to the wall 5 times a day, your pronator will get better. There are thousands, 10,000s of people that would really believe that. And I share something about pronator, and the next day people says, "Oh, I see, you look like you have been watching Devin Larratt lately." I said, no, I'm the one who told Devon Lara the existence of the pronator, but he's like, what the fuck, who the fuck are you, So I am just saying that, like the world is, I mean, he's doing great things, but whatever out of his mouth is for 500,000 people is the absolute truth.
Yeah, Devon started lifting weights.
They're the ignorant start, They're the ignorant start,
Yeah, Devon started lifting weights, and someone said, Herman, what do you think about Devon's weightlifting program? I said, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been talking about it for 5 years. Now, I didn't invent it. That's all Bulgarian and Russian stuff. But Devon didn't invent these weightlifting training methods that have existed for 50 years. And so Devon did something this week that I thought was good. He made a top 5 arm wrestlers in the world video, right? Where he said, Levon is number 1. Vitali's number 2. And I think that's stuff like that's needed more so that he can educate his ignorant fan base. But we really need someone or just more arm wrestlers with the same type of social media presence to balance out some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe there was an Engin with 500,000 followers and a Krasimir, and then these people would get a different perspective on things.
Yeah. I mean, you are saying that, there is a lot of perception, but I think it needs to be balanced with the truth, Devon is one of the greatest. 2007, about 2010, probably the absolute best in the world. Yes, but not like one scale is Devon, the rest of the world is here. It's not like that. Devon is one of the, I can count like 20, 30 best ever guys.
And interestingly, Engin, while you were talking, I've been texting to Devon.
Yeah.
And I'll read you what I've put.
Yeah.
I've put, Devon, do me a favour, mate. Can you tell everybody that I am fucking great? Thanks, Neil. What do you think?
Okay, Devon said that he's fucking great?
No, I've asked him, mate, to tell everybody that he knows. Ideally, have a T-shirt and a mug made that just says, something like, Neil is ace.
Yeah.
Would you buy one?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't wear, but I would support it.
yeah. You wouldn't wear it, but he'd buy it.
Yeah, I would tell you something. Listen, the truth is, I would never wear even a John Burzing T-shirt, I am my own brand, So I'm just saying that ask John Burzing, if you would wear a Devon Lara T-shirt. You are best of what you are doing. And as John is not, doesn't have competition about being best ever, about what you do, you are also the same way.
Mate, I will take that all day from you, dude.
No, it's the truth, If anyone disagrees with this, that person is ignorant, I mean, I can count you 10 of them, but I don't want you to make you so happy, about it. Yeah, but I mean, tell me what you didn't do it. World champion arm master, top class trainer, the tournament organizer, the what do you call MC? That thing, doing that. Those matchups, refereeing. What did you not do for the arm wrestling at the best level?
Honestly,
what did you not do?
I didn't write to Devon early enough to tell him that he needs to fucking get on social media and tell everybody everything. Just say,
you were a little lax.
Yeah.
It
was only when Herman made that point I was thinking, God damn it, he's right. So I was just sexting over it saying, look, I know this dude, he's fat, but he's ace. If he tells everybody, channel's going to go through the roof, Engin. Through the roof, mate.
250 subs coming up. 250K.
Yeah, there it is.
That one is also his own kind, He's one of the best ever, but what he's doing for the popularity of sport on the social media is also, one of the greatest things.
Yeah, we need to touch on some controversial shit. All this structure of business shit. I thought we were going to talk about Khaled and freaks and weirdos and steroids and
we're at 1 minute.
Topic.
1 minute under an hour and 10.
They are sick of talking about this. I talked about Khalid.
I thought we were going to talk about some real shit. I don't care about why WAL doesn't want to do anything with me because they're on COVID. They're sitting in a penthouse, and I'm over here building fucking porches for people in the snow. That's how I get by.
If you can build a good porch, you need to get your ass on a plane and over to Herman's house because he has like 3 that need building.
You know, Herman, that's not a bad deal. I can build like a motherfucker. I'm pretty good at what I do. Just saying, you got some of that engineering money kicking around. I can't do
some practicing.
I do work moderately cheap compared to contractors.
I told the bishops, I said, hurricane premiums are pretty crazy, Rob. Like, seriously.
Does it seriously mean I got a job?
I do my own work, but I'm saying, like, if you needed to work, you could probably make a killing down here.
Yeah.
This could carry on for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're an hour and 10 minutes in to this mammoth episode, so we're going to wrap it up at there. I got to close Engin's ass down. He'll still be on here in 3 hours.
If Rob wants to talk more, we can do another one.
Mate, I wish I could do another one, but my missus will divorce me. So
we gotta bring out what we gotta do is talk about the shit people really want to hear about. Because, you know, I do have my opinions on the WAL.
Comments in the comments below, mate. Comments below, and we can get back on here and get it. I'm sure.
What I'm saying is, it's all good. Like, what's really moving the sport right now? People are gossipy whores. They really are. And they want to hear.
Don't muck about. You tell us what you're
Listen, the housewives of X county, whatever it could be. If they did the housewives of Turkey, housewives of fucking the house blew off in Louisiana, those are all number ones. You know why? Because it's drama and it's bullshit. But there is drama in our world, and we need to put some of the myths and some of the bullshit to the rest. I thought you were going to ask me about Khaled and Devin's exploits and, you know, guys getting big quick and all that stuff.
Listen, we can do that, Rob. We wouldn't want to disappoint you. We can do that.
You have me for 2 hours, and I want to talk about the get big quick meal and the guy who never trained to wins world championships meal.
I promise we will get you back on here. We're going to get comments below. We will get you back on here, Rob. We'll get this collective back on here.
What if I'm in Louisiana? They're going to fucking tell them to put roofs on.
Could happen. They will
I'll put you on the GoPro. I'm stringing rafters.
But it's your finish.
Engin used to be a roofer. I remember that. We'll bring Engin.
Listen, Engin's an ice cream man.
World-class roofing service.
Ice cream man. First class.
I hardly understand what Rob says, and his connection is bad. Now he has food in his mouth, and Neil is also talking at the same time, and I don't understand anything.
Bobby, it's like 3 hours past my lunchtime. I got a burger sitting here that's cold. I was trying not to eat it, but I mean, we were talking about federations and longevities. I got twisted somewhere. What do you want me to do?
We can't close this show without seeing your bicep. Famous bicep. Yeah, right there. It's still there. Yeah, okay, good.
Still good.
Yep. Awesome. Look at that from Herman, look at that.
Herman, I cannot see. It's out of the camera.
Oh, you missed it. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Hey?
Yeah.
How about that?
Seriously. The COVID, no one's coming stateside. I need to get together with one of you fuckers and train. Nobody around me is training or doing anything. I got the weirdest training group in all of the country.
I will never get this thing closed down. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and watching In the Presence of
we're still filming?
We're
going to get real weird. I was going to take my pants off.
Herman, he thought I'd shut it down.
Let's make one more.
We can't do it, mate.
30 minutes.
Can't do it. I wish I could, but I can't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to In the Presence of Greatness. I want to say a massive thank you to my guests, Rob Vigeant Jnr, WAL middleweight hammer holder in the mother fluffing house with the pig. I want to say a massive thank you.
That third sheet, Neil. That third sheet was going to go on that clothesline. You should have stayed.
We'll be back. I want to say a massive thank you to the Enigma of Rage, Engin Terzi. Thanks for that, dude. Thanks for joining in and getting angry. We only got a little bit, but we like it when a bit of emotion comes out of Engin. And ladies and gentlemen, massive thank you to Herman Stevens II for coming along, and he's going to go and build a house. Guys, thanks so much. I enjoyed it greatly. It's the longest episode in the history of the Supernatural Strength channel. Ladies and gents, if this is your first visit, please like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time on In the Presence of Greatness. Biggity bong, mother fluffers.